Okay, let's get into it. Just want to go over my pre-market game plan going into tomorrow, and then I would do a session recap of today. So as always, just keep this quick, clean, and easy. Now, super solid day. It's pretty cool, man. I got like maybe 12 to 15 emails today of people cashing out, going long over 673. Over the past couple of weeks, you guys have heard me just complain over 673, right? I'm sure we were all tired of it, but we knew 673, 673, 673. I've been saying that for weeks now. That was our key level to look here. And today, a lot of people cashed out on this A plus long, which is super solid. So you ended up, right? You got this good displacement, the retest here. Early in the morning session, we made a high of day. We pulled back all the way back down to the low of day and pushed up and made a new high of day. So it was really cool to see people cash out on this. Like I said, coming into today, this was the A plus opportunity. So kudos to set up twice. A lot of people cashed out today on that. That is super cool to see, right? Playing your trade, trade your plan. Beautiful execution there to those who caught that. So as we all see, we pretty much had a sell off today, pullback. Something that I always want to say is news invalidates technical analysis. This is not a technical analysis breakdown. You know, the Fed's pretty much said that they most likely will not cut the rates going into December, and this is the outcome. So coming into tomorrow, this 653 is such a key level here to watch. This is such a key level here to watch. The reason for that being is because, right, this is just how I'm thinking. I really want to explain this to you. If we get a break and retest over that, this is the bottom of the range. This is a very big dip buy. This is a very big dip buy. So I'm going to hold my water. I'm going to be very patient tomorrow because I know this is all a news catalyst type play. If we can reclaim this and buyers take over this 653, don't be surprised if we see that. Another reason I say that is because as we know, straight down equals straight up. There's a lot of thin volume in there, a lot of thin volume. So if SPY recovers this, reclaims that, and moves higher, I will not be surprised if that rips to the upside. Now, we know we are bearish bias if we stay under 653. I do not want to be a part of a squeeze that gets stopped out trying to short this thing and fuels that thing higher. So if that occurs, I will be waiting for, maybe a big gap down during the after hours pre-market and then a pop and fade. So just hold your water here. But tomorrow, the key level here is 653. You're really looking for both ways here on SPY. Either a break and retest and you're getting in at the bottom of the range because if we reclaim that, we're bullish bias, or a pop and fade or break and retest under this, under 653. Why? Because if we're under this, we are bearish bias. Now, let me go here to the weekly. You can see, buyers did hold this and really try and defend this during the end of day. So we just really got to be patient here. Really, really got to be patient. I'll give you a better visual. Give me one sec. Better visual here. Is it 653? Yeah, 653. So you can see, right? If we break this level, that is a break of structure. That is now forming a lower low. You can see every single time we push down until this buyer stepped up and pushed this thing higher. So us giving up this level, we are now bearish bias on the market. You can clearly see as well, this would also be a beautiful, one sec, trying to give you a straight line, a beautiful bear flag setup on the weekly. That is solid. So if we're able to catch that and catch this move, we are now bearish bias on this market. So just be cautious there on SPY. But coming into tomorrow, your key level here is 653 on the SPY. Qs. Playing your trade, trade your plan. So for the longest, I have been hawking this 612.80. I've been hawking the 612.80. I took a high probability shot today. Did not play out. I would 100% take this trade again. My job as a trader is, every time I look back on a trade, because as we know, everything is easier to say in hindsight. I want to say I would 100% take that shot again. 100% would. So as we know, coming into today, right, the 612.80, I've been hawking this thing for weeks, since October. We know, right? We're looking for the break and retest over this because this is the dip buy. This is the dip buy. So was very patient, got a good displacement candle. You saw a buyer step up here aggressively. I ended up taking that shot. It looked really good on the 5-minute as well. Buyer stepped in, hammer stick candle entry. We ended up falling under. I took my high probability shot and I was done. I want to explain to you the difference between a consistently profitable trader and one who is not. It's not because they win on a consistent basis. What makes a great, consistently profitable trader is how they handle their red days. I promise you that is the biggest difference between successful traders and non-successful traders. How they handle their red days. So you guys know me, less is more, win or lose, one trade a day, walk away. Now, I really want to emphasize on that because I'm going to explain to you how traders make it very hard on themselves to be profitable or consistently profitable. They take a high probability setup and you got to understand what a good loss is. That's a good loss, that's a good shot, that's a high RR trade. It sets up again. You force this trade, you see the good displacement, we make a new high day, we got a hammer stick candle, you think, okay, I'm going to take this shot again, and then you end up losing. So now you've taken 2 losses on the day. Your second one's probably a little bit bigger because you sized up so you can make your money back from your first one. You go into tomorrow, you take another high probability setup, it ends up being a winning trade, and now you're still red. Now you're still in a hole. So I want to say that because I can't emphasize this enough. You have to have a long-term mindset as a trader. You have to think about your next 100 trades. Your performance as a trader is not judged based on one day or 1 week or 1 month. It has to be judged based on 100 trades, 1 quarter, 1 year. So, right, I planned my trade. I traded my plan. I would 100% take this again. SPY was pushing, all the tech names were pushing. Ended up getting stopped out. I did not revenge trade. I did not FOMO. I did not take that loss personal. So, if you're still there in your journey, think about how you react and how you take a loss. Some traders cannot handle a loss. They take it personal and then they try and force to set up again. And now you've taken 2 big L's on the day. So really wanted to emphasize on that. I thought that was a really good lesson, but I planned my trade, traded my plan. So I took my shot over Q's here. Go watch that live trading session. You see exactly what I'm talking about. We failed. I walked away and I understood that, hey, today is not a high probability setup day, right? We were pretty much stuck in this until we got that. I understood that very quick. I took my shot. I walked away. So that being said, let's go here on the daily. Exactly what I was looking for. 8 times out of 10, this sets up today, which is one of the days where it didn't. So the same thing that happened on SPY, right? SPY ended up holding at 673. This is exactly what I was looking for on QQQ, right? I've been saying I want to see this channel turn into support. That is a beautiful shot. That's exactly what I was looking for. We know this is a key level. Look how many times we push into this and sell or step up. So when I get that breakout with displacement and I look for that retest, right, I'm catching the top of this range, turn it into support, looking for that move higher. We know we're bullish bias on this market. Now, you can see here, let's go on the weekly. Q's fell under, this 587.85. We're going to have to see what the pre-market looks like tomorrow. But as long as we're under this 587.85, we are bearish bias. I'm going to give you another clear visual here, right? 587.85. This is the weekly time frame. Trending higher, right? We fall under this. That is the start of a lower low forming. That is a break of structure. You can see every time we pulled back to this 587.85, buyers shot this thing back up. So we just got to read the price action here, see what it looks like tomorrow. Let's go here on the 15-minute. Same thing here with the Qs. I'm sorry, with SPY. You really want to read this because your key level coming into tomorrow is this 587.85. Because if you get a break and retest over this, you are now bullish bias and you're pretty much getting in at the bottom of this range. And that's pretty much a dip buy. It is a dip buy. Or, right, one of these. You got to read the price action. But as long as I'm under 587.85, I'm bearish bias on the Qs. Now, if we reclaim this, what do we know? Straight up, right? Straight down equals straight up. I won't be surprised if that happens. If this can happen in a day, this can happen in a day. So, like I've said, news invalidates technical analysis. This is all a news-driven play to the downside. So I will not be surprised, not one bit, if we reclaim this and move higher. We just got to be patient. We got to see. Tomorrow's a Friday, so you really want to be conservative. You want to be safe. But as long as we're under 587.85, we are bearish bias on this market. So obviously, if we stay heavy, you can look for a break and retest under 580.75 or 576.45. Those are my next key levels on the higher time frame. But you're really going to be watching this 587 coming into tomorrow. Tesla, beautiful. Now, the same way I explained to you, right, what I was looking for on the Qs, same thing that I broke down here on Tesla. So today, beautiful on Tesla. If you caught this, I know 2 people did, right? Plan your trade, trade your plan. We knew if we're over 410, we're bullish bias. I just broke down. I don't want anything to do in here. That's a low probability environment. We're forming a channel. If you watched the live trading session, I explained to you, we already got the break and retest during pre-market. So there's nothing we can do about that. But if we're over 410, we're outside of this channel, we can expect continuation and we're bullish bias. So there's no coincidence that Tesla breaks outside of this channel and we get that clean price action trending to the upside. We ended up getting a solid break and retest over this 419, getting above here, made a new high. That is super solid. That was the game plan on Tesla. Like I always want to say, if you get the break and retest during pre-market, whether it's to the upside or to the downside, and we open up and we rip or we drop, we're not necessarily just ripping or dropping to the downside. We've already gotten the break and retest during the pre-market. So I really hope that makes sense. So then you would just be looking for this. I'll zoom in here on the intraday in a sec, and you can see that happened on the dot. This thing pushed up. History repeats itself. What happened on Monday? We actually took a long on Monday over 410. We went long. We were outside of the channel. We knew we're bullish bias. If we do, look at that. Beautiful. Clean. This thing shoots up to the top of the range, makes a new high. We get that again, right? Shoot to the top of the range, makes a new high. So now we know we are bearish bias on Tesla now because we're under 410. Now we're bearish bias. So what are you looking for coming into tomorrow? I'm looking for a pop and fade off of 398.20 or a break and retest under 289.25. Super solid setup. I'm really looking forward to this one. If we can get that, that looks good just because I want to see the bottom of this range. Stick with me. I want to see the bottom of this range turn into resistance. See what I mean there? We don't want anything to do in here. So I want to see that. That is a super solid shot on Tesla. I'll zoom in on the intraday here just so you can see, right? We ended up getting a super solid break, retest on the dot of a 419.10. This thing trended to the upside all the way up to 428.94. So super solid here on Tesla. NVIDIA. So even though we had a sell-off today on the market, NVIDIA is still very bullish. I am not shorting this name until we fall under 173.15. I'm not shorting this name until we fall under 173.15. You can still see we're sitting above, structure still intact. So you'll really just be looking for a long over 184, a long over 190, or a long over 195. Now we know if we stay under, give me one sec, if we stay under 184, we're hands off. Why? Because we're just in a channel here, and we're in a channel here. I don't want anything to do with that. I'd rather just be patient, sit on my hands, and wait for that. It may set up tomorrow. It may set up on Monday or Tuesday. We won't know until we find out. But as long as we're above this 173.15, I am bullish bias. So this is a solid shot on NVIDIA, 184.50. Obviously, you want to hold your water, see if you can spot some divergence on the overall market. We'll see. Other than that, pretty solid. This thing pulled back and filled this gap. We ended up gapping up, obviously, right? Because we had earnings. We ended up gapping up really across the entire market. We opened up top of the range. We ended up closing down here. I mean, this is the previous day high. So we came all the way back down. We filled this gap, filled the gap. You can see we respected our key level and continued lower. Just be patient, hold your water. But this is a solid setup. Anything under 184, I'm just hands off because it's a channel on the daily. Apple, the divergence on Apple is very strong. It's going to take a while for us to be bearish bias on Apple. The reason for that being is just correlate it yourself, right? Look at SPY, look at QQQ, the crazy sell-off it had, and look at Apple. It's just still holding. It's still holding. This thing did not pull back with the overall market at all. This name is very, very bullish. You even saw that today, right? We ended up pushing back up to the top of the range, not that far away from all-time highs. And obviously, we got that sell-off, but this thing is far away from being bearish biased. So tomorrow on Apple, right? I'm definitely going to be watching Apple because we've seen this for the past 2 weeks. It's just been clear divergence on Apple compared to the overall market. So I'm still looking for this. This is really my A plus opportunity here. This A plus pullback over 264.05. Remember, we ended up breaking this. We got a mini gap fill, never retested this. The deeper the pullback, the better. So this is clean market structure. That's the dip buy. Or if Apple wants to stay strong, right? A break and retest over 271.40, targeting all-time highs is a solid shot too. But coming into tomorrow, I'm not looking to short this name at all. Clearly, I'm hands off in here. I'm just looking for pullback long entries on Apple. AMD. So I'm really watching AMD here. I'm really watching AMD. Of course, if the IV is high on this name, I'm just going to pass it. But the reason for that being, we cannot forget, this is like a $30 plus gap fill. $30 plus gap fill. So I love the confluence here because one, we're bearish bias now. Two, we have a gap fill and a ton of thin volume. And three, there is nothing in its way to the downside. There is nothing in its way to the downside. I mean, you can see here, this thing held, and when this key level held, it pushed us all the way up to all-time highs. Buyer stepped up here a little bit, coming into the end of market close. So why do I love this as well? Because it's the correlation with the previous day low. So if we break under that, man, that is a solid shot to the downside. I'll give you a better arrow. There's nothing in its way to the downside. So be cautious here. Like I said, it's Friday, right? It's 0 DTEs. You can always play next week cons. But I just really want to emphasize that I am bearish bias now on this name. So this is a daily candle, right? This is a daily candle. So I want to see how tomorrow's daily candle form because that's a solid shot. If we can get a pullback to 225, right? If we can get a pullback to 225 and a pop and fade off that, that's a very solid shot. That's a very solid shot. But other than that, both of these are really your key levels. You're fine if you want to ignore these two key levels, 214 and 209. You're fine if you want to do that. I would say, right, just wait for the pop and fade off of 225 or a break and retest under 203. Those are solid shots. But I'm really watching AMD here. This is a very big gap to fill, a very, very big gap to fill, and we're bearish bias, so I love that. And then lastly, Palantir. I mean, clearly, right, clearly we're bearish bias. You just want to find a key level here. Like I said here on AMD, you kind of want to look for the same thing here on Palantir. I love how this candle closed because now, what have I taught you, right? You want to see a daily candle form. You want to see a wick off that daily and that be the move to the downside. So you're looking for a pop and fade right off of 163.20. As long as we're under 169, we're bearish bias. The reason I love a pop and fade off this 163.20, right? Let's say we don't sweep the previous day low liquidity. We're bearish bias now. Look what's in its way to the downside. Absolutely nothing. This is a big RR trade. There's nothing in its way to the downside. A lot of thin volume in here. I love to see that. So as long as we're under 169, we're bearish bias on Palantir. You just want to see a daily candle start to form under this 163.20 and get one of those. So just be patient, hold your water. We'll see how that goes. Now that that's done, I'll go to the side watches. Let's see what Google. I mean, look at Google. This thing is so strong, bro. This thing is so strong. Like clear divergence, just like Apple. Look what the overall market did today, all the tech names, and look at Google. This thing's still making all-time highs. So you know you're not looking for that. But, right, I mean, this candle did close bearish, clearly, right? Bearish candle. I want to see, right, a candle form the top of this range and then get one of these. What I want to see, the top of this range turn into support. That's what I've been teaching you. See that visual there? The dip buy? That's exactly what I'm looking for. I want to be patient here on Google. Like I said, I don't want anything in here because it's just sideways action. And if I enter in here, you're pretty much late to the party. You're late to the party. You're not wrong. Waiting for this. And of course, the A plus dip buy is down here. We ended up breaking this level. Never got a retest. That is solid. But other than that, this thing is so strong. You basically just want to see, 291.95 turn into support. But you got to wait for proper displacement. You got to wait for proper displacement. But the fact that this thing made another all-time high today, it's crazy. Amazon. So I told you, right? I'm neutral on Amazon. I'm neutral on this. So if you have my key level here, right? Let's go to the 2-minute. Not the best price action. Yeah, you never really got a solid break and retest. You can see all we did here was sit sideways. I'll draw this out for you. That's all we did. Right? You never really got a solid break and retest under here. Like I said, I'm neutral on Amazon. I'm gonna go here to the weekly. I'm gonna show you. Right now, if we fall under this 217.40, now I'm bearish bias on Amazon. So tomorrow, this is a very solid shot on Amazon. right? Because this is the weekly time frame. We're just sitting in here. There's nothing in here. So I'm neutral here. I'm open to go long or short. But if we fall into this 217.40, you are definitely bearish bias on this name. You can see, right, that'd be a break of structure. That is a solid setup to the downside. So hope this helps, right? Let's end the week strong. Be patient. Remember, not trading is still trading and proper risk management. I can't stress this enough. Just because it's a Friday does not mean you got to trade a 0 DTE, right? Play next week cons, be conservative, be safe. I hope this helps. I appreciate the love, support. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you all tomorrow.